Right, but that wasn't Raven. They never really said it was Raven. Did they in the first season? Did anybody ever say the name Raven?
Mm-mm.
No. So she was, whatever that was a different thing. Now this, whatever's going on in her now is different, because it's not like another. It's more internal as opposed to what she was seeing before, where she was having like a back and forth, like, no, leave me alone type thing.
I like it. I like the continuation of the story. I'm just saying it is kind of old ground. Like, they resolved this once before, and now it's happening again.
Yeah.
But I'm saying when Dick and Donna, Dick and Donna and Hank and Dawn went out.
Dick, Donna, Dove, Dawn.
Yeah, it's so confusing. Hawk, Dove, Wonder Girl.
So how do we feel about this episode?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Chuck, go ahead.
I like this TV show.
Mm-hmm.
I really like this episode. I like the controversy between the original Titans and now the new Titans.
Yeah.
And the battle, I like the battle between Jason Todd and Grayson. I love how Grayson owns him in 13 seconds. When he tries to fight him, he just like tosses him to the floor.
Not even it was a single second. It was just like done.
I love how this is the way that they're bringing them all together, even though it's supposed to be quote unquote a quick thing, and then they're in and out and they're done. But you know that they're not going to be. They're going to be there permanently, because they're going to stay. They're going to get rid of Dr. Light, and then after Dr. Light, they have to stay and help fight off
Slade.
Did I say Slater?
Yeah, Mario Lopez.
Yeah. Yeah.
Overall, though, I like the controversy that's going to be happening between Dick Grayson and the old Titans, and now all of a sudden he's changing. I didn't realize that was the old Titan Tower.
Yes.
I thought that he had just acquired that from Bruce the first time.
No, I think they kind of made that clear right off the bat. That he was like reopening.
They make it clear for the first time in the premiere of this season in episode 1.
Right.
When him and Bruce are having that talk, and that's the first mention we get of Titans. I don't ever remember hearing that conversation taking place in the first season.
No, not at all.
Or even that Titan Tower was a thing.
Right.
Before in the past. I know they were all together. I know it was Wonder Girl. What would be funny is if Dick's super name was Wonder Bread. You have Wonder Bread and Wonder Girl.
Oh.
The Boy Wonder?
The Boy Wonder.
The Boy Wonder, yeah. Yeah. No, my point to what you're saying is they did not do a very good job of establishing Team Titan in the first season. Like, you kind of had to piece that together on your own with, like, little bits and pieces here. And then all of a sudden, like, this episode opens up with, like, a whole lot of talk about Titans.
Right. Mm-hmm. Which, a part of me is okay with it. A part of me wishes that they didn't, that they could have spoon-fed that a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Some things need to be spoon-fed. Some things you don't. It kind of bordered on... This is one of those things I don't think it should have been. I think it should have been. I mean, it should not have been. It should have been spoon-fed. Like, drop a single line.
Yes.
How did Wolverine's claws grow back? A single line.
There's no way they can.
And just give us something like that. Outside of that, we're now beginning to hear and see a lot more of Raven. I mean... She came out in this episode, and it was intense. Like,
no, they were in the tower.
I get that.
Oh. I kind of was. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It was a really cool effect. I thought it was really cool.
They're retreading old ground with that, though. Like, we already went through the whole Rachel Raven thing, and now we're just doing it all over again. Why? Because she has a stone.
Well, because it's different now.
This is different now.
Yeah, that's exactly what she says, right? She says here, she's like, there's things going on that I can't control. Like, this isn't like another.
She couldn't control Raven in the first season either.
Right, but that wasn't Raven. They never really said it was Raven. Did they in the first season? Did anybody ever say the name Raven?
Mm-mm.
No. So she was whatever that was a different thing. Now this whatever's going on in her now is different because it's not like another it's more internal as opposed to what she was seeing before where she was having like a back and forth like no leave me alone type thing.
Well, I think what
This is
happened
different.
is no, because it's still something. She's like the real me wants to come out. So there is still that other entity, let's say, that's inside of her.
I understand. I understand what you two are saying, and if you want to look at it that way, it's fine. But I thought that the whole personality complex within her was like resolved with like her father and all that good stuff, and then she got the stone and she was able to like channel all of that energy somewhere.
I think the personality conflict is resolved. I think now the conflict is: do I let this other personality out or not?
She had no idea what she did to Jason in this episode. She snapped back with like a quirky smile on her face, like what just happened? And it's like I like it. I like the continuation of the story. I'm just saying it is kind of old ground. Like they resolved this once before, and now it's happening again. That's my only thing.
I agree with you guys completely. And having gotten past this, I feel like they just didn't know what to do with her.
Okay.
In this season.
So
like, I feel like this season really doesn't have much to do with her. So they're just kind of doing this just to kind of like pacify us.
Well, no, now it's the Dick Grayson aspect of how is he going to become Nightwing. And
Sure.
I do like how they touch based on it because what's her name? Donna asks, well, if you're like Robin's dead, you burnt the Robin outfit. Who are you now? Are you just this or this? And then they even gave a nod to Nightwing when he uses the bow staff, and then Rose cuts it in half and he starts using the speed sticks.
Yeah,
right.
Really
That is
cool.
Nightwing's.
Yes.
That's Nightwing's specialty weapon, and they start. So they're giving nods to that. I know Lee knows if and when, not if, but when Nightwing comes up. So don't tell us, but I do know that it's. My guess is it's probably going to be sometime this season, because he's obviously Nightwing.
Right.
It's just he's going to get there.
So
I think it was stupid when they went out to fight Dr. Light and nobody had their uniforms on. I thought that was idiotic.
It was
Hey,
it was
Jason-
ridiculous.
Jason
Yeah,
Well, that
Jason's
was-
ready for everything. Jason is ready for everything.
That was when the two. But Gar was already too. He just had to change.
Well, yeah.
But I'm saying
You have
when Dick and Donna, Dick and Donna and Hank and Dawn went out.
Dick, Donna, Dove, Dawn.
Yeah, it's so confusing. Hawk, Dove, Wonder Girl, and Grayson. When they all went out to the stadium, none of them were prepared.
Nope.
Which I don't get that.
Nope, not at all.
I don't get it either.
Not at all.
Clearly, he knew what was going on. They thought they were going to sneak up and surprise him, and that was not the case.
Which they could have done.
Happy to see you. All of you.
Which they could have done with their uniform.
True.
If there's one thing this episode did for, and I agree, I like this episode too. If there's one thing this did do for me though, I want to see a flashback to what Team Titan was originally, and like the clear blow up that they're alluding to that happened. Like something got to give there, right? Like, am I?
No,
I want to
agree.
know. I want to know what happened there. That's my first thing. My second thing is this partnership between Dr. Light, which is still a stupid name, and Wilson.
It will remain a stupid name.
No, I actually think this partnership is actually kind of cool. You can see the cracks already. How Slade is very cool, very calm, very contempt, very plotting and methodical, and this Dr. Light character is just ready to release havoc, and that's not the answer at all. So I'm just waiting for these two to like explode on one another. If that's, I mean, it's so obvious to me. Like it's crazy. I like that. It's intriguing for me. It's intriguing.
It is. I like it.
Okay.
No, I think overall, the whole Rose debacle is gonna, she's obviously gonna join them at some point.
Yeah.
Because the one thing I don't like is how, when they are the protege of somebody, they have to look just like it. Like Donna has the lasso of truth. Rose has the eye patch, just like her dad.
Yeah.
It's dumb. That I think is a little. It's a little. They could do without. Make her someone different than, just because she's that way, she has to look that way too. No. And if she can heal, why isn't her eye growing back? That's what I still want to know.
Yep.
But over.
Maybe, and I'm spitballing, but maybe
we talked about this. It's not regeneration; it's healing.
It's healing, but I'm wondering if it is regeneration. Maybe she
healing
didn't.
Is cell regeneration.
Maybe she didn't take whatever serum until after her eye was already gone. I don't know.
I don't think she took a serum at all. It would be hereditary because her dad had this stuff in him, right?
Well, the only reason why I say serum is because they do a lot of serum plotline in the first season with the nuclear family and the Mad Doctor. And I thought that they were doing that with Hank too when he was shooting up whatever he was to not at all, which was a missed opportunity in my opinion. It should have been.
There's a lot of serum stuff that's brought up and like shots and everything, but nobody ever really explains any of it.
Nothing.
And I'll tell you that even up until season 3, still no explanation.
That's
Although
disappointing.
Season 3, I think it's either the end of this or the beginning of season 3 that they do bring up, hey, somebody had some type of thing that they were shooting up with or whatever, or they were creating, and it becomes kind of a focal point, like let's figure this out. So I think they do kind of get into what something is, but I don't think it's any of the things that we were just talking about before. I think it's just a whole new serum or whatever.
That's weird.
I don't know. The nuclear thing was a pretty big.
They never really explained that though,
right?
And they just kind of moved on from it.
I think so far.
Once Trigon was gone, it's like that stuff doesn't even matter anymore.
I think that's my biggest complaint about the show so far is this whole serum business and the nuclear family went absolutely nowhere. It should have been so much more of a reoccurring thing, especially
it could be.
And especially when it's like you're interspersing the nuclear family and the serum that they're shooting up. And in the same episode, you saw Hank and shooting up whatever he was doing. They don't allude to him being a drug addict at all. It's just all revolving around, here's this stuff, here's this needle, here's this healing thing, here's the nuclear family. And the show makes you think it's all connected. In no bones about it, the show makes you think it's all connected. And now we're finding out it isn't. And Hank is no more than just an opiate abuser? Like, is that really like the thing that they went? That's so stupid. That's really stupid.
Mm-hmm.
This episode makes it seem like he's not an opiate abuser, but he is addicted to fighting and violence.
No, she says you can't go out and fight without using afterwards. She says the word, you can't do this without using.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I must have missed that.
Yeah,
all I heard
is a line in this episode.
Yeah. And his thing with using is not just one thing; it's anything. Like he would use any drug, whether it's alcohol or this or that or whatever. And they get into that. They explain that
he shares that with Dick.
Yeah,
right.
Why wasn't that established way earlier?
They're establishing it now.
That's.
Hey, it's no aerospace engineer, right?
It's not that bad. It's not. No, it's not that bad. This is
pounds ahead of anything MCU right now.
Right. Yes. It feels like everything with Hank just feels like they didn't, like Lee said with Rachel. It feels like they didn't really know what to do, and this is their answer.
Yeah.
That's just my feelings on Hank as a whole.
Well, this is the problem that we run into a lot when you try to do an entourage like this of of comic book stuff. When you have 4 to 6 heroes in one, and there's not just one main focal point, somebody gets lost.
Yeah.
Like when you do Man of Steel, that movie was fantastic.
Yeah.
When you did the first Wonder Woman, that movie was fantastic. And then they jumped, and then when you do all the individual Batman movies, except for a few of them, they were pretty much really, really good. But when they brought in Justice League way too soon before other characters are introduced, it just spoiled the whole thing.
Mm.
For what they're doing here with using this kind of entourage and this kind of, these groups of people, and they're trying to still do backstory and still tell the whole story, I think overall they're doing a great job with what they have.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Something's going to get lost though along the way, because they're not going to have. I mean, granted, they're not doing 6 episodes, thank God.
If they had split up the Hank story and the nuclear family story, I don't think I would feel this way. But they did it in the same episode, where the theme of that episode was whatever serum they're injecting into their bodies, and then you see Hank getting injected with. It all felt really connected, and now
they focused on it too. Like
yes.
They focused on him shooting into his leg.
Yeah,
they focused on when she opens the container of the needles, and she's like, "You guys, who's ready?"
Yeah,
and they made it a point to talk about it. If they didn't bring it up, because here's the thing: is the nuclear family could still be something, because they can replace any person in the nuclear family.
Very true.
I don't understand why
the mad doctor's dead, so they would have to fix that problem. But I agree with you. It's a really easy thing to bring back. Yeah. So the one other thing, well, a couple of other things I'll bring up. Can we because we didn't last week, and I want to now. Can we talk about how like Corey is being called back to her home planet because she's royalty?
Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, she's royalty, man.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, so the guy comes and he's like, "We gotta go. You're royalty, your highness, blah blah blah," and she tricks him, and it's like this to me is like how mistakes happen in universes like this, where it's like they are going to come for you, legions of them, and she just let them come. What do you think is going to happen to like the people of Earth if they're like invaded by your alien race, all looking for you? This seems really irresponsible.
Well, there's an easy fix for that.
They just forget about it.
Just don't write the invasion into the script.
Yeah. There's sort of a way around it in a sense.
I'm sorry. I know you know more. Come back.
Honestly, I'll tell you. They drag. I mean, just like we're talking, you guys keep bringing up Nightwing. They drag everything out. But the good news is they eventually get to it. That's
which I'm happy about. Which I'm
to with MCU.
Which
they get to it, but it's like they're dragging it, and we're all just like, okay. It's just like, okay, it's got to happen by now. Why hasn't it happened?
Which we discussed that last season too. Like I made a point, like when they killed off Dick Grayson's partner, and she died. You didn't see her die.
No.
But then the next episode they made it a point to say the death of his partner. So I like that they do that. They are answering questions that we have. The one question that they don't answer is he still a detective or not? That's never been
I think he's fired. No. I think he's very, very, very fired. Like he has not been around for months at this point. He's not even in the state where he's supposed to be. He's in California. It's over. Left. It's over. It's absolutely over.
He still has his badge. He still uses it to get into crime scenes. Like you would think that someone would catch on sooner or later.
No,
but, hey, he's Dick Grayson.
No, of course not. Of course, exactly. He's Dick Grayson. Speaking of Dick Grayson, the one thing that I do love about this season so far, or these first 3 episodes, each episode I'm reminded less and less about Bruce. I like that.
Right.
I really like that because that was another complaint of me from the first season was it heavily relied on Dick is in Bruce's shadow. Now all of a sudden, it's very much not the case. Now, I'm fully
except for Except for the house, the computers, the technology.
See, they established that all of that was already like there and like available. I have no problem with that at all. But what I'm saying is like the shadow of Bruce Wayne was scattered throughout the first season. It was heavy-handed.
It was heavy.
Here so far, they're doing a good job of really keeping that out of your mind. I'm not thinking about it anymore. I like that. I like that the focus is very much right now on Dick and his evolution into Nightwing. I like that. Okay.
So do I. I am, to a degree, if they're going to drag some stuff out, I'm fine with that. But there's, like, we were just talking, we talked about this, Marvel's MCU Secret Invasion and how they're dragging out Nick Fury becoming Nick Fury again. But in the midst of them dragging out this, him coming to that, nothing else happens throughout the 5 episodes that we've talked about so far. At least stuff in here, things are happening. There are fights. People are, the group is coming together. Relationships are being built. There's struggle. There's all these other things that are going on.
I know Lee said that they drag things out, but one thing that I will say, Deathstroke is getting involved way earlier than I thought. I figured he would have been endgame. Like endgame for the season, the final bad that they have to like deal with. Like the show set up like, okay, Dr. Light is going to be like, your appetizer, and then the main course would have been Deathstroke. He's getting that's cool.
I think he might still be the final like big battle. And it's going to be, but you'll be seeing a lot of him. I don't think he's going to fight a lot of them throughout the whole season.
I wonder if Deathstroke knew that Jason would be the one to go after him. Or if he knew that Jason would be the first one to stray away from the group, because his plan went off perfectly. We're gonna wait till the weak link leaves and separates himself, and then we're gonna get him, and then we're gonna make the others suffer. Like Deathstroke's plan worked beautifully. It worked. I'm just wondering if he knew it would be Jason, because he didn't get back involved of being Deathstroke until he saw Jason on TV, and Jason knows who he is. So I'm just wondering, like, there's some type of connection there.
Do you think the blood was Jason's or the other guys?
The blood was Jason's.
Mm-hmm.
The blood was Jason's. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
The blood was Jason's.
I mean, he was hammering on Dr. Light.
Why does he have on a ridiculous helmet that makes him look like a shark?
I don't know. It's like some kind of gladiator.
When you see him in the stadium, and it's supposed to be this moment like, here's the bad guy, get ready guys, and it's just like he has on this ridiculous half Iron Man vest and a red shark helmet. It's so stupid looking. I am not taking this guy seriously at all. And like his whole interaction with Deathstroke, how he's just like, yeah, beer is cheap, and he just chugs it like a complete moron dunce.
No, the best part is like, I was just making a joke. I can see that. Hey everybody, Lee from Black and White Reviews here. Just wanted to take a moment to thank you for tuning in, checking out our conversation. If you like this discussion and you want to hear more about this specific subject or other things, check us out on our podcasting sites, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, or Google Podcasts. We're up on pretty much all of them. So yeah, thanks again for popping by, and be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks.